I'm waiting for Karen Brown to say she sees me. Does she see me or does she see me today? Do you guys see me? Okay, yay! Touchdown! Whoop! Oh yes, everything is good. In fact, everything is great. We did something kind of big and exciting today. We can't talk about it yet. I hate to be a tease, but if it comes to pass, I'll be able to tell you in a couple days. So today's actually been a really awesome day, like super, super fun. A little stressful because it's big. I know. We're always up to something. But it's good. It's like sometimes I really feel like the ringleader of a circus in like the best possible way, but like that's right. Well, Lauren knows I'm about to talk for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. So I'm up to all good. But yeah, it's been a fun day around here. Just a busy day. Anyway, nothing that I haven't talked about before. In fact, it won't surprise you, but I don't want to say anything here before I say anything else to anybody else, and I don't know if it's fully going to come to pass, and more information about that soon. I know. So anyway, I hope you're having a really good day too. We have a fun class tonight. I actually am really excited about tonight. And I hope you are enjoying the energy of July so far. I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about your amulet too, because I do think this is one of the more powerful amulets of the year. And and the energy of it. You know, if you, most of you were at our live readings today. If you weren't at the live readings today, we were talking a lot about higher self and like learning how to slow down, let processes unfold. You know, we're talking about the difference between human time and spirit time, and the patience it sometimes requires to wait on spirit to do things in perfect time. And what's really, really funny is what I didn't mention, because I kind of was saving it for class. Vasonite, also known as idocrase, also known as Vesuvianite, this green stone that you have in your mesa, which is also in your grid that we're going to charge tonight. It's also in your mini mesa. That is the stone of the higher self. And we didn't really talk about it last time because tonight's the night when we talk about the stones and the herbs and the oils. It's the stone of the higher self. Yes, people use it for erectile dysfunction. Yes, people use it to boost their libido during menopause and perimenopause. Yes, it's a really good heart-opening stone that helps you to have a level of divine compassion for others. Like, yes, all those things are true. But it also is a stone for connecting with your higher self. And I really think that is what everybody's being called to do right now. There is a higher evolutionary version of you than the version I'm talking to right this minute. There is a higher evolutionary version of you. And that higher evolutionary version of you has integrated all of the lessons of your past lives, and also, I believe, has some perspective on your future. Okay? That is a place of comfort. What I want to do for you tonight, here's my intention, because I've got some mantras we're going to work with tonight, and we've got our herbs and our oils and all the things. What I want to do with you and for you tonight, my intention, and get my sheets in the right order, is to help you find more comfort so that you can activate a deeper level of desire in your life. That is my primary intention for our work together. I'm just putting my sheets together because they're all kinds of screwed up. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Oh. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Reminds me of my old professor days. Okay, they're in order. I've got mantra work for us tonight. We're going to be burning some of our herbs because they're super important, and when I tell you what they are and what they're for, you're going to want to burn them. So get your charcoal burner out, get a charcoal disc out. I know, right? Well, but the thing is, and I'll tell you, and I really appreciate that, Rena, by the way, I try to make sure that all of my notes get spoken. What I do is I take your website content and I add in all my Athena tidbits. And I really do make sure that everything that is in my notes gets said to you. So Team SG is taking notes, which means what they produce for you is pretty much an exact replica of my notes, because everything that is written down is what I say to you during class. Does that make sense? So it's not like I don't hold back. It's not like there's stuff here that I don't tell you about, or like I don't get to, or whatever. I really make sure it's all there. If you don't have a charcoal burner, you just need a heat-proof plate, something that isn't going to combust if it gets too hot. Glass is not good. If you haven't had that pleasure of cracking a glass dish by trying to burn incense on it, then you missed one of the lessons of my magical childhood, because I did that, and I did that twice. I didn't just do it once. I legit was like, oh, let me try doing that again. Yeah, you can put them in your candle. I think that's great. Ceramic, like Crystal Scarlet said. Abalone shell should be fine. I'm not responsible for combustions. Look, and I mean, I'll be honest, right? Like, I get kind of excited. So on the one hand, I was like, oh shit. And the other hand, I was like, dude, that was awesome. Like, the 12-year-old boy in me comes out when I, like, burn things or cause things to shatter. Like, dude, check it out, man. Copper is great if you have your Tatewari, you know, that copper bowl that we sent you with your Tatewari set. If you have that, that's perfect too. No, I am. There is a 12-year-old boy that lives inside of me, and so on the one hand, I'm like, shit, and on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. Okay. So, I'm not going to waste much time. If we have time, though, at the end tonight, and I don't know that we will, but if we have time, I want to leave time to talk about Mars, because you have a lot of questions. I try to respond to as much as I can on Facebook, but I can't always get to everything, and so I would love to leave a few minutes at the end of our time together tonight for any questions that are on your mind, or just anything in general. You can use, I'm going to have my mala with me. This is my favorite of the SG malas. Not that I don't like the rainbow one, because I do, but it was like a long-standing dream of mine to have an opal mala. I had never seen one. I couldn't find one. I looked on Etsy. I looked everywhere. And so I had the team make them, which is why we have these malas. So even if you don't get one, that's okay. We really got these for me. So I'm going to be using my mala. You can use a mala, or you can just go along with me. But I'm doing something different with the mantra tonight that I hope you're going to be excited about. As you know, I'm a wordsmith and a linguist by training, and I really love language. And I don't think we do enough with the names of the chakras. I think you can actually use the name of the chakra as the mantra, because, and I'm gonna use the names of the sacral chakra and the root chakra tonight, which are beautiful. What they translate to in English is really, really lovely. And so if you don't know what those translations are, yeah, if you didn't get a mala and you wanted one, I'm just telling you they're really, really pretty. Don't feel pressured, but they are beautiful. Okay. So class has begun. This is session 2. Is anybody new tonight in Soul Shift? I don't necessarily think that anybody is new tonight. I know a couple people started with us at the beginning of July, but if anybody is new, I do want to say hello. Yeah, there is the Lam Ram, or Lam Ram, depending on how you pronounce it. Mantras, the single syllable mantras for each of the chakras. But I will tell you, using the names of the chakras themselves does more for me. You'll have to experiment and see if it does more for you. Yay! Well, welcome if it's your first live class. That's absolutely fantastic. Super, super happy that you are here live. And that's Athena, right? Super stoked that you are here live. That's exciting. Yeah, so we'll see. And if you have your rainbow mala, whatever you have, work with it tonight, okay? My rainbow mala is right there because I wanted to have the energy with me at my altar. So I have the rainbow one on my Buddha statue right there, which is where your malas should live when you're not using them. It's a really beautiful practice to adorn your statues with your malas. So that's my mala holder. Even at home, I have all of my malas. My home malas are sitting on statues. But we are really, really happy to have you here. Okay, cool. Well, cheers. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. We have bonus class tomorrow. I want to remind you. I only do bonus classes this year for Soul Shift. I did a gem gridding in Gem Haven. I'm doing a second one. I did a perfuming class, but really like deep content based classes I save for you guys. Tomorrow is one of my only crystal healing bonus classes of the year. I do have a question for you guys. Would you mind if I just ask you a feedback question, because I'm in the process of thinking about next year's programs? Can I just ask you a question really quick and get your feedback, and then we'll move back to class content? Do you guys like having everything together like it is this year, or would you prefer to have things broken out like it used to be? Perfume class, gem class, this class, that class, or do you like having everything together? It's a really important question, because I think that's the number one question I'm holding, is whether I keep everything together or whether I break it back out. So there seems to be preference for having everything together. I think it hangs together better. But I have gotten some feedback from people that they're like, oh, I wish I could just learn about crystal healing. Everything else is interesting, but I wish I could just learn about crystal healing. Okay. So just know that I'm working on next year, which is why I continue to ask for your feedback. By the way, I should tell you, I really do like feedback, and I really can take it hard. When I ask you for feedback, it's not like a secret asking for praise. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, tell me everything you love. When I ask for feedback, like, I really want feedback. Like, if there was something you couldn't stand, I would actually want to know about it so that I could fix it and make it better. Oh, no, well, thank you for that, Colin. Honestly, coming from you, Colin, like, I really take that as some serious praise. I love feedback, constructive feedback, even if it's like super critical. Like, even if you said, you know what, those dresses, like, I can't stand the dresses. I need you to like not wear those dresses. I might not change my wardrobe for you, but I would be like, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, well, and so I'm trying to figure out next year. I don't know, because here's the thing. Some people who teach classes by themselves. It takes half a dozen people on my team to put on what you see. That might blow your mind, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. So it's not, when you pay more for a class with me, it's not just because, oh, I'm so special and I should get more money. It's because I have to also pay a living wage to at least six other people. I mean, I have a bigger team than that, but those are the six people who are, it takes half of my design team just to get your mesas together, product ordered, product in-house, inventoried into the inventory system, locked and loaded on shelving, all the labels created, everything printed, everything. I mean, it takes 3 people, almost their full-time schedule for the whole month just to do that. And so I only tell you that because it's like, it probably looks like it's just me and I come here and put on a show, but like there are a lot of people behind the scenes. And so that was part of the increase in fees this year, is putting together the bevy of tools that you see here and everything else that goes into like them taking notes and them typing those notes and them posting those notes. Like, it's a lot, you know what I mean? So anyway, but I want to know it all. If you wish it was later, that's great. I can try to do that. You know what I mean? It's 1 day a week. So if we pushed it back by an hour, the challenge then again is like having my team having to stay an extra hour later. Maybe they come in an hour later. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I can tell you I'm not raising prices next year. Does that help? I mean, I'll just be honest. I am doing everything in my power not to raise any prices next year, but I don't know that I could lower them. But so just in case you're like trying to budget, I don't anticipate any increases in anything next year. Okay. Yeah. So it's good to know about the timing. It's good to know, like, maybe you don't like Wednesdays. You know what? Maybe Wednesdays is like not your favorite day of the week. Maybe you'd rather do this on a Thursday. No, we already talked as a team and we've committed to not raising your fees next year, like 1,000% across the board. But whether I can lower it or not would mean having to remove content or remove product or remove process, because right now the staffing is a lot of time. So anyway, I'm going to keep track of all of your comments here and go back and sort of synthesize them. Team SG will keep an eye on it for me too. I really do appreciate your feedback. My goal is to make this an awesome program for you. And of course, I'm going to try to like even outdo this year, next year. And I'm thinking about ways to do that for you that will support you in all the ways that you need. The best way to give feedback, I think, is why don't I, because if it's email, it'll get overwhelming. Again, it's like, how would we get through all of that? We'd have to give like a staff member a week to go through the emails. I think what I will do is repost a feedback post in the Soul Shift group, and then anything that you aren't sharing here, please share there. And like I said, even if it's weird stuff, like I don't like your dress, I don't like Wednesdays, I don't know what I'm doing on this planet, I wish class was shorter, like I can take it. Okay. Well, Karen Brown, it's better late than never. Yeah, so here and then also in the Facebook group. But it's good for you to know prices are not going up. It's good for you to know that I'm thinking about breaking it out, but I might keep it all together because I'm having a better experience. But I've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying they wish they could do just this piece or just that piece, and so. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. I really do appreciate it, and I my goal is to do a good job as a teacher, and I have zero ego around what that means. I know I can't please everybody, and I don't think my classes are meant for everybody, but I certainly am one who always knows I could be doing it better, and so if there's a way for me to do that, I'm into that. Truly, thank you guys for that. Okay. So we have bonus class tomorrow. I want to make sure you know that in anticipation. So tomorrow's class is going to cover a couple things. Okay. Oh, interesting. So Tammy, I'm reading your comment, by the way. So it's good. Like, and part of me is thinking about flexibility too. Like, is there a way to keep it all together but parse some things out? Would that make it disjointed? I have other things I want to teach beyond what I'm doing right now and incorporate in, but I don't want to overwhelm you. You know what I mean? So I'm working through all of that. Okay, good to know. I know tomorrow's bonus class is a little bit early, but it will be recorded. So we're covering 2 things tomorrow at a minimum. I don't know exactly where we're going to go because I only plan so much and then I allow for serendipity. Team SG, can you just remind us of the time for the bonus class tomorrow? I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say the wrong thing, and I don't have my calendar right here. So Team SG will remind us of the exact time. We're covering crystal healing using palm stones. And in anticipation of this, there are palm stones on sagegoddess.com, and we're doing, but only for you guys in Soul Shift, we're doing a buy one, get one. So if you buy any palm stones, I think we're doing it today and tomorrow. If you buy any palm stone on sagegoddess.com, you get a second one, a different one for free as a gift. So that's kind of a good deal because some of the palm stones are $20, $25, $30. So you get $60 worth of stones for $30 or $40 for $20 or whatever. And then there's 18% off with code Divine18. So I want to tell you that. Yeah, the Om Shanti ones we had made for us, the ones that are in the shop today that say Om Shanti, which is the mantra for peace, and it's on iolite, which I thought was really cool. We had our choice of palm stones to engrave that on, and I thought that is the path to peace. Isn't it pretty? So anyway, a lot of you have palm stones, which is why I'm teaching this class in the first place. But if you're like, I don't have a lot, or well, let me see what she's got, we're doing the buy one, get one for you. So we're covering palm stones. I'm going to be talking about Vogels tomorrow night. I'm going to be talking about portals and portal protocol. As a very important tool in your crystal healing toolkit. The one thing I have noticed, okay, I know, we try to time things up. I don't think there's a code. Team SG, they don't need a code, right? It's just if they're in Soul Shift and they get a palm stone, they get a second one. I don't think there's a code for that. Okay. I have had crystal healing sessions before. I have seen people's crystal healing classes, and not to be judgmental, but I never hear them talking about where to put the energy. If you are removing something in somebody's energy field and you just pick it up and drop it, in the broader matrix, I don't think they necessarily release whatever that is. I mean, it can easily reattach, it can easily, right? Makes me very nervous. And I have actually asked people like, so where do you teach your students to put the energy? And they're like, what do you mean, where do they put it? And it's like, yeah, but you can't just... Anyway, that's my issue. which is why I'm going to teach you Portal Protocol. We have talked about it before, but I'm really going to get into it with you tomorrow. I'm going to talk to you about my process for assigning portal keepers based on the way I was taught, okay? So we will talk about scanners, we will talk about Vogels, and we will talk about palm stones, right? It's true, Heidi. And so one of the things, and the reason, well, I mean, again, not everybody's taught the same way, okay? One of my earlier teachers was very, very focused on portals. I thought too much so. I thought she was, in my opinion, overly concerned with this idea that energy had to be contained. And she went to these really elaborate measures. The way I teach you today is not quite that. I don't think you have to go to the level that she went to, okay? Because I think you can easily define a container, create a container, open the container, place energy in the container, close the container, and be done. The way she did it was almost scary. It was like it built you up to think that there was this really scary thing that you had to avoid, and I just don't see energy that way, even illness and disease energy. But I do think you have to give it a direction. Energy follows intention. And so if you want that energy to be outside of your energy field, it has to be given a defined location to sit. Again, you're not banishing, you're not removing, you can't destroy energy, but you can consciously and intentionally place it outside of your field. So I want to make sure we talk about that. It is kind of a compost, and what I've noticed too, the universe and its infinite intelligence, if energy is meant to come back to you, it will find its way back to you. All energy will. And usually when energy finds its way back to you, it's because it's unresolved. So you can banish stuff, you can put stuff in a portal, you can send stuff to Timbuktu. If you don't resolve the reason that the energy emerged in the first place, it will return, despite your efforts, right? Isn't that true? Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that. Team SG is taking notes for the bonus class tomorrow. You guys are the best. I did not know they were doing that. That's on them. The goodness of their hearts. I appreciate that. Okay. Are you ready for tonight? I'm ready for tonight. So I'm going to start my incense, my charcoal disc burning over here. My little party started. Might be out of gas there. Let me try this one. I got enough to get you going. It's so satisfying to watch that just sizzle on up. Boop, as it flies over. There we go. We're cooking now. And then I'm going to get a little sage going for us, just to clear the energy. Invite you into present time. And I'm like, hey now. Can you hear all that sizzling and cooking? Isn't it yummy? And just a little white sage. This is a brand new bundle. I love burning a new white sage bundle. I don't know why, but I derive a lot of satisfaction when it's new and fresh and all that good energy. So just releasing into that smoke anything that is distracting you or worrying you or causing you stress in this moment, and just letting that go. And just clearing off our tools for tonight. I'm so glad we made our smudging wands together. I have to tell you, of all the crafts this year, that's the one that I use every single day. I love everything that we've done together, but I use this every single day. Do you guys use your smudge fans too? I just love it, and every time I pick it up, which is like 3 or 4 times a day, I think of us, and I think, it's like it gives me a chance to say, oh yeah, Soul Shift, sending love and blessings to everybody in the group, and wishing them a beautiful day. And when I smudge with it, I always kind of hold you in the space, and I don't know, it's just kind of a neat thing. And if we all do that, if we all think of each other when we smudge, I think that's really special. Okay, I'm ready to burn some stuff. I'm ready to make some stuff. It's fun, right? Like, it's just a way of kind of holding each other in the space, and I think it's beautiful. Okay. This is what I want to tell you about your amulet, just to dive right in. It is made, like I said, of Vasonite, also known as Vesuvianite. Some people call it Vasonite, Vasonite, Vesuvianite, Idocrase. It's all the same stone. The stone is heart-opening. It connects you to your higher self, and it releases negative thought patterns. What is engraved on there is the flower of life. Okay? And the flower of life is the cosmic imprint or fingerprint of creation. The flower of life, and I've told you my first ayahuasca journey ever, I asked to be shown how crystals work. I said, I believe that they do, but I want you to show me how. And as soon as I drank the tea, and about half an hour later, which is how long it takes, I looked up, and the whole ceiling was flower of life. And the person I was journeying with at the time, do you have a surprise for me?
I have a surprise for you and for everyone.
Alexis. I'll tell you what she's got in a couple minutes.
Do you want us to wait? We have everything ready. Do you want us to wait for the go-ahead to?
I think you can go ahead, and then I'll tell them about it in a little
Perfect.
while. I don't want to distract them right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm telling you a story right now. It's a good one, though. Okay. I was journeying, and so I drank the tea. I laid back. Half an hour later, okay, the whole ceiling, literally opened up, okay? Like, all of a sudden there was no ceiling. It was just sky, and then it was stars, and it was a big vibrating flower of life. Probably, I remember it like it was yesterday. It had to have been at least 20 or 30 feet by 20 or 30 feet. It was like having a huge circus tent, okay? And it was changing colors. First it was purple, then it was blue. And the person I was journeying with, we were testing each other. It would be purple, and I would look at her and go, "What color is that? Is the flower of life?" And she'd go, "It's purple." It was crazy. We were seeing the exact same colors at the exact same time. And then it was the first hour of the journey, and it was the best hour of the journey. Your first ayahuasca journey, just so you know, is always your most magical, your most visual, and it's like that is the journey that like leaves an imprint on your soul. And I will tell you, that journey is the reason why I never lose my faith. I never lose my faith. I get close sometimes. I lose faith in people, I lose faith in situations, I lose faith in I lose faith in things at times, but I never lose all my faith because I saw magic unfold. That flower of life, like, pixelated, before our very eyes. And then I remember I was holding crystals because I brought crystals with me, and all of a sudden it was inside the crystal and vibrating. And it was going purple and pink and blue and green. And I remember just watching. It was like watching a light show. And then, I've told you the story, I held my finger up, and it was covered in the flower of life, because your energy field is like a glove. It's about a couple inches above your finger, so it looks like a big glowing glove. And it was flower of life. And then when my flower of life touched the crystal's flower of life, the patterns shifted and changed. And my spirit guides, because you can hear them very clearly in Journey, said that's how it works. That's why when you touch a crystal, it's never the same. Because as soon as your flower of life touches its flower of life, both are altered by the connection. And I was awake and very aware. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was as lucid and aware of what was happening as me talking to you right now, except the ceiling was gone, and it was a big vibrating flower of life, okay? Seriously. So if you ever wonder, like, how does she do what she does and, like, go through all this weird shit and, like, never lose her faith and still stay optimistic, I've seen the handprint of God. And so everything on this planet is ephemeral, and it's shifting, and it's not everlasting, and it's impermanent, and it's imperfect. But there is something that's not. And I asked to be shown what that was, and I sure did see it. And so I will probably tell that story until I'm an old lady, because it changed everything about my life forever, and definitely said that I'm doing the right work at the right time. Yeah, it only lasted for an hour, and then it was gone. The rest of the journey was beautiful. It was another 6 hours, but that was only 1 hour. And then I never saw it like that again. Not like that. Pretty amazing stuff. And so, this is what this pendant is. It is the imprint of God on the stone of the higher self. So if you feel lost or discouraged or like doubtful, like I don't know if this is real, and I don't know if I'm on the right path, and I don't know if, I don't know where this world is heading, and I don't know. Let your higher self drive the rest of the month. You stay in the passenger seat and trust that there is a divine and almost overwhelming intelligence that is guiding whatever this life is. And it's really beautiful. And it will reveal itself to you if you ask to be shown. So enjoy. Now you know why Vasonite is one of my favorite stones in the entire mineral kingdom. I worked so hard to make sure that we could get this for you, and the generator and the pyramid, so I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. It is, despite the fact that it's green, much like serpentine, instead of being a heart chakra stone, it really is a sacral chakra stone, okay? I'm glad that helped you guys, because sometimes you guys ask me, like, okay, I'm losing faith. How do I restore my faith? And I can tell you kind of like the self-help stuff that a life coach would tell you, like, oh, remember, life is long. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Like all the isms that people tell you, all the little kind of cliched things. What I'd rather tell you is there's a handprint. And if you can trust it and kind of relax and soften and just go with the flow a little bit, it will guide you. In fact, it's waiting for you to stop trying to control everything, because that's when you'll get to see magic. But you have to say, like, okay, show me how this works, and then wait for it to show you, right? Okay. Instead of using the single syllable traditional mantras for the sacral and root chakra, because desire is not a heart matter. Desire is a sacral and root chakra matter. Desire is, in my opinion, and that's what we're going to be working with these herbs and these oils tonight, desire is not something that everybody experiences. In order to experience desire, you have to have your basic needs met. Let me say that again. In order to really experience desire, you have to have your basic needs met. Somebody who's hungry isn't desiring anything but food. Do you know what I mean? Somebody who is deathly afraid doesn't desire anything except safety. They only care about their basic needs. If you're hungry or if you're afraid, you're not sitting there desiring a new career or a new partner or a new house or a new, attitude, right? Right? And so desire is a luxury. Desire is a luxury. Like, we are blessed to be able to talk about it in the context that we are, because it means that our basic needs are met. When you get really down on your life, remember, there are people who are struggling because they're afraid, they're unsafe, right? And they are focused on their very, very basic needs. And so if you have those covered, that's almost a reason to turn it around. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're worried about something that isn't your basic needs, it's almost a luxury. Not a crazy perspective, but it really, really is, right? I think about that. My kids, I try to teach my kids without scaring them and overwhelming them, but they had a water bottle. I'm somebody who doesn't like to waste food or water or anything, and mostly it's my parents' immigrant upbringing that has led to that. I try not to be weird about it, but I don't like to waste things. My kids went to throw away a water bottle that still had water in it. They just didn't finish it. And my rule is it goes back in the refrigerator and you finish it later, right? No, they went to pour that out, and I felt myself like running across the kitchen, like, that's fresh water. You don't pour that down the sink. Like, there are people in this world who do not have clean drinking water. I didn't. I held myself together, but I was like, remember our rule, everybody. If you don't finish your water bottle, it goes back in the refrigerator. You can drink it later. Or water a plant, or give it to Smudgy, or something. But like, we do not pour water out of bottles into the sink. Anyway, why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you this because sometimes we need a reality check. If you are not afraid in a basic sense for your physical, emotional, spiritual well-being, then you are in a good and privileged place. So let that give you some comfort. If you are in a place of fear, I think that the desire to experience change can be a catalyzing force for manifestation in your life. If you are afraid, I think the desire for change can be a catalyzing force for manifestation in your life. It can be the real call to action to get you to the place that you're not yet, right? That's what I do, Phase Nikki. I'm like, go get a Sharpie and you put your little Z on there. Because you know how kids are. They're like, well, but she'll drink it and I don't like her mouth on things. If you're not a parent, what I'm saying to you right now may make absolutely no sense to you. But you also should celebrate the fact that you haven't heard children fighting over their mouths touching things. Right? Okay. The sacral chakra in Sanskrit is pronounced Svadhisthana. 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 And the root chakra is pronounced, where did I wanted to make sure I pronounced all the syllables for you. Muladhara. Muladhara. Okay? Svadhisthana and Muladhara. Svadhisthana, there are two translations, so I'm going to share them both with you. Okay, these are the Sanskrit names for the sacral chakra and the root chakra. Svadhisthana, Muladhara. Okay, Svadhisthana means, are you ready? Where your very being was established. This is super important work for us tonight, by the way. This is so Shakti. This is so Shakti. It's Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana. Okay? Svadhisthana. Where your very being was established. That's because those are the ovaries and the testes. Okay? So it is where your very being was established. The other translation is one's own dwelling place. Remember we did our sanctuary and I said you could either choose to have your sanctuary here or here, behind your third eye but below your crown. Do you remember that exercise? Your sacral chakra is a dwelling place for you. It is a place of safety. You can even do a meditation where you curl up and go fetus-like into your own womb, imaginary or otherwise, and get in there and comfort your fetal self. Like you can allow your self, your essence, to fetus back up and go back in there and gestate, you know what I mean? And allow your higher self to take care of your smaller self and create that sanctuary space. So yeah, so if you missed it, by the way, then that's great, because tonight I'm rewinding for us in a way to remind you about that exercise and then to teach you about it now. Did I ruin it for you, Ursula? Oh, that's too funny. When I was dating Dave, my mom called him a fetus because he was 6 years younger than me. He's not a fetus anymore. He's turning 40 years old next month. That old man. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. We're not going to say it 108 times. I think that's probably too much for tonight. He was a sexy fetus. Let me tell you that right now. Hashtag irresistible fetus. Okay, so close your eyes. Sacral chakra. You can put your hand over if you want to. It's ovaries and testes, right? And so the energy here is Svadhisthana. 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 This is one's own dwelling place. The place where your very being was born. Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana. And you know what? Say it out loud and inhabit that word. It may be an uncommon word to your mouth, but like try to really own the essence and the energy of that word. Svadhisthana. My own dwelling place, the very place where my being was born. Svadhisthana. And so tonight we call in those healing energies in our dwelling place. This is a personal place, a private place. off limits to anyone who isn't intimately connected to us. Entrance here is by permission only. This is a sacred place for you. It's where your very being was born. I'm just connecting with that energy. It's very primal energy. It's very beautiful. It's very feminine. It's very sensual. Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana. And some people like to place their other hand over their heart, sort of connect the heart and the sacral, which is good too. And then down to your root chakra. I'm not going to get down there myself, but you know where it is. Muladhara. Muladhara. Mula means root, and Dhara means support. Muladhara. 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 Root support. Calling in support for your roots. Muladhara. 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 Support for the roots. Muladhara. And then maybe placing your right hand toward the root and your left hand over your sacral. The Earth Star is below us, Melissa. It's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. The Earth Star actually connects you to the Earth itself. This is still, the root chakra is your lowest physical or corporeal chakra. So Muladhara is the root, and literally it means support of the roots. And Svadhisthana or Svadhisthana is the sacral, which means one's own birthplace or the one's own dwelling place. No, because it goes crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus above your belly button, then to sacral, root, and then down to Earth Star. And you have your soul star above your head too. Muladhara. Isn't it interesting? Muladhara, 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 Muladhara. It's beautiful. Okay. So in keeping with that, now that we've kind of set the stage for all of that work to begin, I want to turn first to our dry ingredients, as it were. So we are going to start with suma root. And I want you to open your package. I want you to open your package, and I want you to just take a little inhale, connecting with your sense of smell, which is so powerful. I like the smell of the suma root. In South America, it's called para toda, which means for all things. Para toda. It does everything. Does everything. It's got a little bit of a smoky smell. A lot of people I know work with this one because of the level of antioxidants present in it. It is known to prevent cancer, which is really interesting. And I have a lot of, friends and clients who are worried about that because they have a family history and stuff, and they're always asking me, like, what can I do that's sort of preventative, prophylactic? It's just really important to make sure you've got loads of antioxidants in your diet and also working with herbs. So this is the suma root, S-U-M-A. Isn't it lovely? It's kind of woody. Woo! Okay, super yummy. So let me walk you through this one. It's sometimes known as Brazilian ginseng. It is for intense sexual experiences. So not only is it cancer preventative, pain relieving, high antioxidant, prevents liver damage, boosts the immune system, helps to manage diabetes symptoms. And this is kind of the fun part, the fun trivia about suma root. It was called the Russian secret because Russian Olympic athletes had used it for muscle building and endurance. And it strengthens orgasm. So it intensifies not only the libido, but the actual physical experience itself. It is very, Lorian just spilled it all over the carpet. She got a little excited there. It definitely boosts creativity, but it also boosts physical strength, physical stamina, physical energy, and sensual and sexual energy, right? All the good things. Okay. It's restorative. It regulates the endocrine system. It boosts libido. One thing I wanted to tell you about all of our herbs and oils tonight, they are all what's known as adaptogens. That is a word you want to know. An adaptogen is an herb. Where's my notes? I wanted to tell you about that. Adaptogens are basically herbs and oils that support healing and recovery. Okay, but I had something particular I wanted to tell you about that. I don't know, but that's what an adaptogen is. I have something else in my notes that I'll get to. But everything tonight is adaptogenic. Not every herb and oil is adaptogenic, meaning that it helps you either recover and heal from something that's existing or prevents something that could happen to you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. These are all adaptogens. Nikki's dog is humping her leg. Yeah, adaptogens are very powerful, and you hear that word kind of thrown around in popular culture, but people don't really know what an adaptogen is. And like I said, not everything is either for prevention or recovery. But the tools tonight are for sure would fall in the category of adaptogenics. Okay, so that is Suma. Then I want to work with Muira Puama, which is this one right here. You know what Muira Puama means? Hard wood, big wood, potent wood. Did I pick good herbs for desire? Or what? No, this is for both men and women. And women need help with desire too. The reason men are focused on is because if a woman doesn't have desire, that's what lubricant is for. If a man doesn't have desire, the whole show doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So it's like, kind of got to help them out a little bit more. The fixes for us are much easier than they are for our boyfriends, right? Okay. I love the smell of it too. So just a little bit onto your charcoal if you want. You don't have to burn them, but you can. It is an aphrodisiac. It increases potency. It is good for erectile function. Has been used as a tea for sure. It comes from the Brazilian rainforest. Okay. What I want you to do, I'm going to put a little bit more on there. I want to stop talking for a second. By the way, this is what they use in Brazil for menopause. So that's the other reason I put it in here. Because I'm in the early stages and having a grand old time of it. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I want you to see how you feel working with just these two alone. It does smell like roasted marshmallow, doesn't it? I want you to connect with that smell. And I want you to notice how your energy field feels to you as you connect with that scent. What most people describe is kind of an expanding of their energy, an opening. And the reason that's important, the reason why tonight's herbs and oils are important, this was the Muira Puama. The reason why these are important is the shamanic edge of the work that we're doing. When you experience trauma of any kind, grief, sorrow, heartache, anxiety, but extreme, you tend to contract, okay? And the contraction in that moment is what creates the physical residue of trauma that ultimately leads to the origins of disease and illness, okay? It's that moment of contraction. And you know what I'm talking about, because most of you have had trauma and you know that in that moment it's like, okay? That's the contraction, okay? What these herbs do is the opposite of that. Instead of contracting, they expand. These herbs are kind of, this month's herbs are kind of the answer that you guys have been asking for pretty much the whole year along, which is, are there specific tools that we can use to expand our energy field so that we can heal contractions and avoid contractions in the future? And one of the things we do with what we call a scent association in this work is we give you a scent talisman in this case. And so when you go to contract, okay, like when you're in that moment and you're like, shit, I don't want to contract, I don't want to contract, I don't want to contract, what do? You bring yourself back to this. You know, when things happen in my life, even minor things, I'm now developed enough where I stop and say, I'm not going to contract around this. Because I know how much work it is to undo the contractions. And I can tell a contraction a mile away. I can usually see a contraction a mile away. And I can decide not to contract and to breathe through it. That's right. It's almost like childbirth. Like, nope, we're not going to go. We're going to go. Right? Okay, so we breathe through. And then we work with our herbal allies and our scent allies to create a scent association. So that you say, okay, so I'm, and in my experience, crazy as it may sound, I've even learned that I can energetically call these herbal allies in. I can call upon the plant spirits. And I think that's maybe the missing piece of the work that we're doing, is recognizing and giving thanks to the spirits of these plants. We think of, you know, the major plant medicines like ayahuasca and cannabis and peyote, right? And as having plant spirits. And we talk about them as plant spirits. But we don't talk about the minor herbs and flowers as being plant spirits too. And they are. These are spirits of expansion in the face of contraction. These are the spirits that help you to create a bigger and more robust energy flow, so that as energies come to you and through you, they don't get stuck. One of the things I admire most, one of my teachers was here today. He happened to be working with another client in LA yesterday and tomorrow, so he kind of passed through the office on his way from San Diego to Santa Monica. And it was really cool to be near him, because I haven't seen him in a couple of months, and I was reminded how expansive his energy field is. Nothing gets stuck. And even just being in his presence, I was reminded of that. Like, he models it. It doesn't have to talk about it. Like, you can feel. There's so much there. And what's really beautiful about him, too, and I try to do this for you guys, too, like, you can run stuff through my energy field, just like I run stuff through his energy field. I was running stuff through his field because I have permission, without even telling him that I was running stuff through his field. It's almost like a purification process. And if you're working with someone whose energy field is expansive enough, they can allow you to run your stuff through them. So you're not doing it alone. And I think that's what Soul Shift is. Well, with permission, yes, it's okay. You don't want to just run stuff through people, because most people can't hold and create that. You know, I've learned to create a separate container, which is what our Soul Shift group is. And you can run your energy through that container that I have created for you, just by visualizing it running through. Let it run. It's not, you know, it's not, and I think you guys are wise enough to know that it's not an individual person doing that. Like, he's not physically doing it himself. I'm not physically doing it myself, but it's an intention that a container can hold that for you, and nothing gets stuck there. Do you know what I mean? Nothing's getting stuck. So let it run. The minute things get stuck, that's when you end up with physical pain, disease, and illness. When energy starts to go through and it's like, and it can't, because it got stuck in your heart, or it got stuck in your solar plexus with your ego, or it got stuck in your sacral chakra because it triggered something around procreation or creation of some kind, or it got stuck in your root chakra because it made you afraid, and now it's there. You know what I mean? And then 10 years later you're like, well, why do I have, you know, diverticulitis? It could have been that contraction 10 years earlier that it tried to go through, and there wasn't anything there. So you have to feel into a space, but your goal is to be such an open vessel that shit comes through and shit goes out. It's like smoke. It's like, and it's gone. But what I find is, and it's this really interesting concept, it even came up yesterday in the interesting shamanic summit that Colin posted about in our group, about this idea of re-traumatization. That sometimes what can happen is you can with stuck energy, you continue to experience the trauma again and again and again. And then what I noticed too is that social media, because people constantly tell and retell the same story, perpetuates this sort of re-traumatization. And so part of what I'm trying to do tonight with you guys through these mantras and through these herbs and through some of these tools is teach you how to reduce the loop, to remove the loop. Because if everything is able to pass through, nothing gets stuck. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you guys? Is this resonating with you? Okay, because it's really, really important. It's like re-traumatization is re-traumatization. It is the engaging of the trauma again, right? Okay. Jasmine flower. Let's go in with a little jasmine now. You know how I treat my my incense, my charcoal disc, like it's a stove. So let's get that going. You're looking for the hot little core that's still in there. That's my cooktop. So now I'm cooking my third dish of the night. Yeah, and then people tell their trauma stories, and then other people get triggered, and it's like, and I'm not somebody who likes to silence people. I don't want to say, well, you shouldn't, but you have to be careful that you have to ask yourself, why am I telling my story again? Am I telling it for pity? Am I telling it for attention? Am I telling it because I'm trying to heal it? When I see people who are telling because they're trying to heal, I have a lot of admiration for that, because they're trying to not have to ever tell it again. But when I see people telling it because they get pity or attention or followers or likes and stuff, like I can't support that, because I don't see it as a productive exercise, right? This is how learning how to live as a healed person in social media, which is like somebody should write a book, right? Well, that's different. Ursula's like, I tend to tell for context, which is fine, versus what else you might be getting from it. And sometimes it's super subconscious. Sometimes people don't realize that they're telling their story for attention. But, we learn and we do better as we learn. All right, jasmine flowers, what I want to tell you, first of all, they're really pretty. This is what jasmine flowers look like if you don't have your tools. They're little white flowers. This is one form of jasmine. There are quite a few different varieties of jasmine. My favorite story about jasmine is the Cleopatra story, which I've told you 100 times, so I probably won't tell you the whole story again, but she used to dip the sails of her ships in jasmine essential oil that she had distilled for her so that people would smell her before they saw her when she was approaching or invading a country, right? Here's what you should know. 1 pound of jasmine petals, fresh jasmine petals, from France, okay, today. Anybody want to guess how much it costs? 1 pound of jasmine petals. It's an interesting question, isn't it? Which, by the way, makes a couple of ounces of essential oils. I think it makes about 8 ounces of pure essential oil. Anywhere between $10,000 and $30,000, depending on the quality of the jasmine, the region where it's picked. $10,000 to $30,000. 10 to 30. This is why. So what's really funny is it's sold out for right now, the champaka, because I had extra champaka on sagegoddess.com. You guys must have devoured it. One of the reasons nobody else has it, it costs me for a container this size, it costs thousands of dollars. I've ordered another one, but I had to wait till the whole first one was gone to be able to afford to buy another bottle. Thousands. Most people don't want to do that. Like, they think it's ridiculous to buy something like that. But when you think about the number of thousands of petals it takes to distill an ounce, you start looking at your essential oils in a really different way. What I'm going to say is, don't spill your champaka tonight. You might cry a little because it really is worth, your dram over there is worth, I think $20. Yeah, no, It's really, really, really good stuff. Don't drop that one. You can drop anything else. The amorous is expensive too. The cardamom's not as expensive. The champaka is expensive as you can imagine. So don't cry. You will cry if you spill it. So don't spill it. Okay. Attracts love and abundance is the flower of seduction. In Italy, the legend about Cupid is that Cupid wanted to have jasmine, but it was so special, it was only cultivated by Persian traders. And so he kept it in his garden until he found his beloved. And where's the rest of that story I wanted to tell you? I told you my pages were all screwed up. And then, of course, she fell in love with him. Now, here's the other part of this story. Actually, I'll wait for this until we get to champaka to tell you the rest of that story. But remember that I told you about Cupid. It is an aphrodisiac. And, eternal life. So, in Egypt, it was thought that if you burned jasmine or wore jasmine, that it would ward off death. So, it was known as the flower of eternal life. And so it was not just, my theory anyway, is that I think Cleopatra wanted to seduce. She was definitely an enchantress. This is what we know historically. She was thought to be very beautiful. She definitely used her beauty to leverage relationships to help her advance her political interests. I actually think it's the immortality thing that got her. Because more than anything, she was really convinced that she wanted to live forever. That was the whole idea behind most of the Egyptian cosmology, this idea that there was eternal life. And so she wanted to extend her human life, and I believe that that's why she actually put the jasmine on the sails, not so much to intoxicate, but to protect her and to protect her physical body. Interesting, right? Okay, and then once I get my herbs in order. So we did our jasmine, we did our Muir Parama. Did we do the maca powder? No, we haven't done maca. This is the last one I want to tell you about. This one is for fertility. And I mean physical fertility. So this is maca. If you're trying to get pregnant, it's the right one for you. Okay. Maca, M-A-C-A powder. It comes from the Peruvian Andes, and it was used by the Inca for fertility rites and rituals. Also used as a love charm. I'm not trying to get pregnant, but I do like the smell of it. I haven't been fixed, but my husband has, so technically I can't have any more babies. In the way I have had babies before. That was his contribution. I was like, I have gone through 2 very difficult pregnancies and deliveries. You're going to do your part. So, anyway. Okay. Improved sexual desire has been used as a love charm, like I said. The Incas used it for fertility rites and rituals, so it has a really good lineage all the way back to the Incan civilization. It was also thought to improve energy and endurance. And what's interesting is everything I'm showing you tonight also has that side benefit of increasing your energy levels and strengthening your endurance. So who knows? I mean, if you're an athlete, Nikki's son says it smells like popcorn. A little bit. I can kind of see where he's coming from. It's adaptogenic, helps you overcome challenges, mental challenges, physical challenges, spiritual challenges. It balances moods, and is another one that helps to support you during menopause. Mood changes. It's very helpful. It stabilizes the mood, so it prevents kind of the up and down swing. Right? So it's stamina. It's all the energy. So this is different than Mako powder, which is the incendiary agent that you can use so that you don't have to use charcoal discs for incense. So it's a little bit different. This is from the Andes Mountains, thought to be associated with Mars and the element of fire. Okay, how are you guys feeling? Like, do you feel the energy of these herbs? I definitely do. So one thing I want to tell you is, if you wanted to make a really powerful incense for connecting to your higher self, experiencing greater desire, opening your energy channels to run energy more efficiently, I would combine all of the herbs that you have tonight into an incense blend. Next month's Mesa, your gift, by the way, I had these, I had mortar and pestles handmade for you out of olive wood because we're working with Athena. They're so beautiful. Wait till you see. So you're getting this gorgeous olive wood mortar and pestle. It's all organic. Like the edges of the bowl are actually sort of like natural. They're polished, but it's really beautiful because we're making incense as our craft next month with Athena. We're making Athena's shield incense, which is a super old recipe, like back to like OG SG years ago. Anyway, so you can wait and make the incense and add those to next month's. Because next month's ingredients would go really well with that. Or you can do it now, but I would wait till you get your next month's Mesa and do that. Isn't that fun? I'm going to teach you how to make incense. And I make incense using essential oils and herbs with different kinds of fixatives, and I'll teach you all the different ways, ingredients you can blend, like I said, to make it self-incendiary, so you don't need charcoal discs. We're going to go through all the nuts and bolts of incense making next month. Oh, are you really? Michelle's getting into incense making. I like making incense the old way. But that's how I was taught originally, and it's mostly the pagan program that I was in was where I really learned the foundations of incense making in a big way, because we spent a month just focusing on that craft, and there's still nothing like it. You know what I mean? Like really hand ground, and the intention, like setting your intention as you're grinding your herbs, makes all the difference. Very powerful. Well, so it's a great question. Mystic Hippie Mama said, how about herbs have certain health or body benefits? How do we use them if we can't consume them, just burn them? So here's the thing. Like, I have to tell you not to consume them, right? Like, I'm obligated, right, to tell you not to consume these. At the same time, I'm going to tell you that historically people did. And so if you, in your travels, if you do your homework and you find that there is one of the herbs that is consumable and you want to do that, like, I can't stop you. But, you know, when I tell you, it's like I have to tell you that for your safety. I do not ingest essential oils. Some people do, I do not. And I don't give them directly to my animals. I don't judge people who do it. It's just not part of my practice because I think it's tricky. And I think it's trickier than we give things credit for. I think we tend to not appreciate how strong essential oils are and overuse them rather than underuse them and dilute them appropriately. And, do you know? So, but, you know, I do inhale Buchu. Too, Jessica, so don't feel so bad. I also, when I'm sick, I inhale white sage smoke. I inhale Palo Santo smoke. That's antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. So I'm a big believer in all those things. Right? Okay. Let's go to our oils now. I had so much fun burning all those things with you. It's always my favorite part. I hope you guys like it too. I really do get a kick out of experiencing them together energetically and using our incense burner, which is my favorite ever. Okay, so on to our oils now. We're working with amyris, cardamom, and champaca with macadamia oil. Macadamia oil is, for me, it is, the energy of it is sensual. It is extremely rich. It's full of incredible fatty acids. It's so good for your skin. Just a little bit under your eyes, you know, around where your crow's feet are and your nasal labial lines, is so good for your skin. It's really, really good for your hair. It's just, to me, it's like a miraculous oil. It's more powerful than coconut oil for your skin, and it really does help to fight the fine lines and early signs of aging. So, and from my perspective, it's never too late to start too. Like, use it now. Even if you have some wrinkles, like, get in there and try it now. Okay, now let's start with, I apologize for like having to keep reorienting my notes, but it is easier for me to have them all in one place like this. Okay, let's start with cardamom. Let's start with the easiest of the three. Cardamom is one of the oldest essential oils in the world. Its known uses date back at least 4,000 years. Isn't that cool? And it's been used for all kinds of things. It is incredibly helpful for digestion. I love it so much. Do you love it? It's a natural aphrodisiac. So good. Now here's what it does. It is a border crossing oil. It helps you navigate the spirit world and the material world. It blends the divine masculine and the feminine. Anywhere where there's like a separation or a difference, it unites those two fields. So it's this sort of like border crossing oil. It was native to India, moved through Sri Lanka, was sort of traded along those routes, especially in ancient times. The Vikings discovered it during one of their raids and brought it back to Scandinavia, and then cardamom like burgeoned throughout that region too once it was brought back through Viking raids. But today it mostly comes from Guatemala, so which is interesting because its original roots were Malaysian and Indian, but today, because the weather is so perfect in Guatemala to grow this, it's a member of the ginger family. And so if you think about like subtropical regions where ginger tends to grow really well, anywhere you can grow ginger in a healthy way, you're going to be able to grow cardamom too. I would definitely put that on your charcoal disc. It is absolutely one of my favorites. A little bit in your coffee. I keep cardamom powder at home, and just a little bit with your coffee before you blend it, especially if you grind your own beans, is absolutely divine. And also will help with digestion. It freshens your breath. The Ebers Papyrus of Egypt, which is thought to be one of the earliest medicinal texts, 3,600 years ago, mentions the use of cardamom, both for magic and for embalming. Heals the gastrointestinal tract, brings courage, releases fear, is heart-opening. It's tridoshic in Ayurveda, meaning that it helps all three of the doshas, the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha. It's especially good for Kapha. Kaphas tend to have intense emotions, are really sort of prone to depression in a lot of cases. And so one of the things this does is uplift the Kapha. Is anybody a Kapha who tends to struggle with depression? I'm more Pitta, so it's not my issue, but if you are Kapha and you do tend to struggle more with depression, this would be an oil that I would recommend for you. Interesting. Isn't it neat? It's beautiful. And by the way, most empaths are Kapha, in my experience. Very few are kind of floaty Pitta people like me. Are you Vata? Yeah. So it's interesting. And April says, I don't know what you're talking about. So this is Ayurveda. Might be good for us to do a quick Ayurvedic review in one of our classes, and then, you know, if you guys are interested in that, could always be another channel of information that you guys pursue. There's some quizzes online. I've been to Ayurvedic practitioners, which is how I know my dosha, but and there are Ayurvedic practitioners in almost every major city now, so we have a wealth of information at our fingertips. Okay, so we can talk about it more, and then, like I said, there are really cool places online to go and get in-depth Ayurvedic education, and if you guys want to do that, you can pursue it. It's just another way of getting to know your body, and part of what I love about Ayurveda is that underlying the practice, there's really this this belief that your intestinal system is your second brain, and the health of your digestive tract is the health of your body, and I think that's so true. And so anyway, we'll talk more about that. There's so much to talk about when it comes to Ayurveda. It's like opening a whole new Bible of information, you know, so we'll do that. But anyway, if you're Kapha, especially if you struggle with depression, that's a good one for you. It can help you attract a lover, and if you chew the pods and you have bad breath, it will take your bad breath away. Not that anybody struggles with that. I mean, I do in the morning, but overall I think my breath's pretty good. Okay, next oil is champaka. Oh yeah. Champaka is my favorite. And I will tell you this is true champaka because I have a champaka tree at home. I'm very lucky. It was my birthday gift from David last year. And they have a couple of trees in San Diego at that nursery I told you about. So if you're local in Southern California, you too can have a champaka tree. It tends to grow beautifully in Southern California, by the way. It's my favorite. Champaka and cardamom is one of your options to combine for the perfume tonight. I just want you to take a moment and try that because I think you're going to lose your mind. It's like, hello. Isn't it gorgeous? Where does one find a David? Listen, there are days where I would like to send him back to the husband shop, so I don't want to idealize. I have a lovely husband, but he's very human. Boys are boys. Okay, Let me tell you about champaka. Are you ready? It's native to Southeast Asia, although, like I said, it grows anywhere that's really tropical. It is sacred to Krishna, right, in the Hindu pantheon, and used as an offering to Shiva. So this is Shakti medicine, because if you think about who Shakti is, she is Shiva's inspiration. She is the ultimate offering, right? It attracts the attention of the gods, and it's true. When the flowers are in bloom, you can smell them from at least 100 feet away. You can smell my tree, which is in the corner of my property, from the front door. It's like, people will be like, what is that smell? I even had a UPS guy last year at the height of summer. He's like, he dropped the package and I was like, he didn't move. And I was like, are you okay? And he's like, what's that smell? He's like, is it you? And I was like, it's my tree. So I went and picked him a flower and sent it home with him. And he's like, really? I can take this with me? I'm like, dude, put it in your car. Your whole car will smell like it. It is strong. It's intense. It's beautiful. Okay. It's a mood lifter. It helps you to enjoy your life. It relieves stress. It increases desire, reduces indecision, helps with spiritual clarity. Going back to my notes. Okay, this is where I really wanted to go. Are you ready? So this is where the surprise comes in. I'm so excited to tell you this. Okay. It helps the ego move away from self-centeredness. Haven't we been talking about this? We talked about this during live readings today. This is one of the reasons why Soul Shift is my favorite class I've ever taught, either in university or online, which is talking about 20 years now between the two. One of the reasons this class is my favorite I've ever taught is there have been more synchronicities with this class where things we talk about at 2 o'clock line up with the things we talk about at 4 o'clock, line up with the things that end up happening in the group 2 weeks later. Like, there is this divine web of synchronicity that just like blows my mind. Okay, so this is champaka. Kamadeva, Kamdev, depending on how you pronounce who you hear, is Cupid in the Hindu pantheon. Remember we were talking about jasmine earlier and how Cupid in the Roman pantheon used jasmine flowers to attract lovers. Okay, so stay with me. Kamadeva in the Hindu tradition is Cupid. And Kamadeva had a bow made out of sugarcane, and the string that he used to pull back the bow and shoot his flower darts was made of honeybees. So the bees all gathered to help Kamadeva shoot his arrows of love toward his intended objects of desire. Okay? Champaka was one of the 5 flowers, one of the 5 arrows of Kamadeva's bow. Okay? So here are the other 4. He had white lotus, which was for fascination. Are you ready? I love this so much. He had mango ginger, which was for change, disturbance. Because one of his theories was, in order to have desire, you have to welcome change. Because obviously if you want something, it's probably different from what you have, or it will shift what you have, and so change. Jasmine, which represented the burning of desire, the deep well of passion and desire. Blue lotus, which was for consecration, so consecrating new love or consecrating a new relationship. And then champaka flower, which was the renewal of faith. That desire is ultimately the renewal of faith. Okay, so in line with this story, I worked with Amanda, who's my head of design. We happen to have white lotus, blue lotus, champaka, mango ginger, and jasmine essential oils. So what we've done now, this isn't going to be fancy. It is on the website now. I don't want you to leave me yet. It's only for you guys. I'm not going to talk about it to anybody else. But so it'll be there for you later. We actually made the 5 arrows into a perfume. Isn't that cool? I mean, it's so rare. I didn't order those oils for this perfume. We happened to have them. And so as I was getting ready and preparing class, and all I'm going to tell you guys is, like, it may actually be the prettiest thing that we've ever made. We've never combined those 5 flowers. And isn't it interesting that it's like, this is a story from the Vedas. This goes all the way back to the origins of Hindu mythology. Like, this is what keeps me excited about what I do, that I could actually put that together. So just so you know, if you decide you want it, it's $12 for the dram, but it's all those pure essential oils. And then you have Divine 18 to save 18% off. Don't feel pressured. You don't have to have it, but it's there in case you want to experience that. Isn't that cool? Try putting that on charcoal. I haven't done it yet because we just finished this project this afternoon. So these are like hot off the press. Isn't that cool? So you'll have something special for your collection. But don't leave me yet. Can you just stay with me? Like, they put the link up, but don't go away yet because I want to finish. We're not done with class. Just stay here. Yeah, this is pure, Candace. This is pure white lotus, pure blue lotus. I wouldn't do it with anything else. I don't even have synthetics of those. There's no synthetic of champaka. I've never seen it. So this is pure jasmine, sambac, which is night blooming jasmine, pure white lotus, pure blue lotus, pure champaka, and pure mango ginger. Isn't that cool? There's a little bit of jojoba in there, just so you know, to make it skin safe, because I didn't want you to be irritated, right? So there's a little bit of jojoba, but this is strong. This is pure. You're going to love it so much. Isn't that cool? Don't leave. Stay here. I'm just telling you about it now, but don't rush. It'll be there later. Okay. And it's said that the Buddha in Tibetan Buddhism, it's said that the Buddha achieves enlightenment under the canopy of a champaka tree. So it comes up not only in Hindu mysticism and mythology, but also in Buddhism. No oracle deck with oils yet. Can you imagine a perfume, like an essential oil oracle deck? I don't know if I have time to do that. Can you guys do that? One of you go and do that, and then I'll buy it. Okay. And then the last one is amorous. And be thinking about your perfume now, right? Because you're going to want to combine these notes in a way that you like the smell. I love amorous too. I know, right? Okay. Amorous is known as West Indian sandalwood, and it's used as a substitute for sandalwood in some perfumes. I don't use it as a substitute for sandalwood because I don't think it's a 1-to-1. I think it's too floral, but you can kind of see where people come from when they think it smells like sandalwood. Inner peace, compassion. This is the scent of your safe place. This is root chakra. The other 2 oils are sacral. Champaka is sacral, and cardamom is sacral. Amorous is root. This is a lower chakra blend that you're making tonight. Isn't it beautiful? So, and I'm telling you this because we're about to make the perfume. If you want a really balanced blend, don't leave this one out. Because if you just put the other 2, you're going to have a sacral chakra blend, but it's not going to have the grounding, stabilizing effect that you may want from this, okay? It's sexy, isn't it? I'm telling you, this is going to be my favorite perfume, potentially of the year, but I love champaka that much. You may not love champaka. If you don't love champaka, by the way, you're not going to like the 5 arrows. Because it's the strongest of the 5. Okay. So, and then your macadamia nut oil, just take a little a whiff of that, just because I want you to know it does have a slight scent. It's very, very, those are strong oils, so they're going to overpower this. So I'm not worried about it changing the smell. I definitely would say your cardamom is your top note there. Your champaka is going to be your heart note, and your amorous is going to be your base note, because that's what you're going to dry down to. Okay? Oh, it's so good. Are you ready? It's so good, you guys. I swear it's going to be my favorite. Don't spill your champaka. Don't you do it. I will cry with you. I don't have any more. So the last of my champaka in the building went into 5 arrows until my next bottle comes. Usually if you spill, I try to replace it for you, but I wouldn't be able to do it this time. Okay. Are you ready? So what I want you to do is I want you to start with your base note. I'm going to start with my amorous. I want the energy of it. I also want the scent of it. So I'm gonna fill about, I don't know, that much. It's very scientific. I don't count drops. I know I should, but I don't. It would be inauthentic. I'd be putting on a show for you, and I'm not interested in doing that. And then your champaka, just giving thanks for that grounding, that stabilizing of that amorous, your safe place. Frees the mind from rigid thinking, helps to delete old patterns, just opens you up to something new. 1/5 of the bottle. That's right, Cindy Cole Miller. 20%. 20% amorous. Okay. And then, God, I really like that. Okay. I'm going in a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to dilute this blend. I may just put a touch of the macadamia for the energy, but I really I want this to be a potent situation. Okay. And then I'm going in with the champaka. So good. I'm probably going to use the whole enchilada because I just love it. God, it's so good. Okay. There's a little bit left. Then I'm going to go in with the cardamom. Careful with your cardamom. Top notes will hijack a perfume really quickly. You don't want this to smell just like cardamom. So go slow. In fact, I will use drops here because I really don't want to screw this up. I want the energy of the cardamom. And by the way, top notes sharpen a blend. They unite a blend. They sharpen a blend, which means they don't necessarily change the scent, but they make everything smell stronger. Yeah, and you might stock up on pipettes, especially if you're going to be getting into perfuming. It needs just a touch more. I mean, really like a drop or two. Yep, that's it. It sharpened it, but I don't want it to be a cardamom blend. It will go really weird really fast. Okay, now the macadamia nut, and I'm just filling it to the top. This is about 1/4 of the bottle in, which is good. It's not gonna, a quarter dilution, half dilution is not going to really dilute the scent of your oil. You'd have to do a 3/4 or more dilution to really narrow the strength of your scent. So don't worry about that if you're using your carrier oil. All right. Oh, it's pretty. There's a little dance going on in there. Okay. And I want to take a moment just to say a prayer and a blessing over this bottle. I want to thank the plant medicine, plant spirits. These are oils of love and the healing of trauma, the shifting of energy, the opening of the heart, the creating of a safe space, especially for those of you who are having root chakra challenges right now, not feeling safe, not feeling secure, not feeling grounded, not feeling connected. Like, this is medicine for you. This is, you get up in the morning, you anoint. This is, maybe what you do is you take your blend and you put a little bit of it back into one of the drams, and you keep this on your bedside and you anoint before bed. You should think of this just like your doctor would say, take one in the morning and one at night. This is medicine. You should take a little bit of this in the morning and a little bit of this at night until you feel better, because it really will help you. I mean, this is, like I said, I've been making perfume through Sage Goddess for 8 years, and what I can tell you is the oils that we're working with tonight and that 5 arrows is the culmination of a lot of years of sourcing really hard to find things from around the world. This is exotic, it's powerful, it's real medicine, and it's something that I think you'll treasure for a long time. And by the way, everything in this should last you for quite a while. This should have a really good shelf life. Minimum 1 year, could be up to 2 years. And some of these oils like champaka and the amorous are oils that age well. So could smell better 2, 5, 10 years from now. Isn't that beautiful? We will try to do a mesa refill. Like I said, I have another kilogram bottle of champaka coming. It's a hard check to write, but it is coming. So I will try to get a refill for you. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks for that to get here. So we're hoping to have it back for you by the end of August. More champaka in the shop. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, thank you for that, Holly. That really means a lot to me. Thank you for that. Don't shop yet. Stay here. Okay. Now we've made a perfume. If you want to label your perfume, of course, your mesa comes with a label. I recommend doing it with a Sharpie. I want to wait to label mine because I want to do a little ceremony with mine tonight. I'm really going to be working with this oil because I'm working on desire and I'm working on lower chakras myself personally. So I want to do a little ceremony with this oil tonight. I think I'm going to take a bath with it. I have a really yummy CBD THC situation at home with that oil that I add to my bath, and so I think I'm going to add these oils to that and take a bath tonight and kind of work with the energies and kind of see how it feels. If you do have CBD bath stuff, this would be a really good oil blend to add to your CBD and take a bath with it later. I love Passionate Desire. That sounds really yummy. Christian, I want that. Cacao would be beautiful in this too. I love that. So anyway, you can have a really beautiful bath with all of your tools tonight. And then I want to talk about your gemstones. I can't believe how fast the time is. I mean, it's gone by fast for me tonight. But since we didn't get time for questions tonight, what I'm going to do is create some time after our bonus class tomorrow night for questions. So whatever we didn't get to tonight, we will get to tomorrow. So if you have your double terminated quartz point, grab that. I've got mine right here. So I want to tell you about these stones that are in your grid. I wish I could bring everything closer, but I don't think I can. Not really, but I think you can see well enough. Let's see if I can bring it just a little bit closer here. Okay, so in the center of your grid is a Vasonite pyramid. Same guy who made that for you. Again, higher self, heart opening, releasing of negative thought patterns. Pink apophyllite. These crystals right here are very special. When I found out that we could include these for you, I screamed a little bit because, do you know, the only person I ever bought pink apophyllite from is him? And it was like 7 years ago. The first time I ever bought pink apophyllite was from him. These are from him. And it's the same batch of pink apophyllite that my original batch came from, like all these years later. Like, how cool is that? It's a really, really neat, like, I don't know, there's a cycle there and it's magic. Pink apophyllite is thought to be the most powerful mineral you can use to access the Akashic records. Those of you who are always asking, what are the Akashic records? How do I access them? How do I understand my past lives? You should, and there's two pieces. Well, this one's shaped like a heart. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Like a little pink apophyllite heart. One in each hand and meditate. Anoint with your perfume, meditate. Aren't they beautiful? And ask to be shown. Most powerful stone for accessing the Akashic records. It's a soul star stone, helps you to access the angelic gateways, the divine light of peace. You have 4 pieces of carnelian at the cross quarters on my grid. Carnelian, of course, is a member of the agate family, and it is a stone. We call it the stone form of caffeine. It's lapidary energy. Super strong sacral chakra stone. Also brings a lot of courage. It's got a lot of Leo energy, confidence, courage, right? It's a nice counterpoint to the pink apophyllite because this is so feminine, so delicate, so angelic, and then it's sort of like it's contained by the really masculine carnelian. Do you feel the difference? Like, one way to really work the energy of the difference is to hold the pink apophyllite in one hand and the carnelian in another. That's when you really start to notice how feminine and masculine your stones really are. It's overwhelming to me, the really true distinction between them. And a nice balance for us too, because ultimately desire is a function of the union of the masculine and the feminine. And then this one is an underestimated stone. This is spessartine garnet in limestone. And one of the reasons I love this, I mean, it is a sex stone. And it is literally thought to stimulate the organs themselves, okay? But it attracts sexual energy to you. So if you're trying to become a little sexier, feel a little sexier, have a more intimate relationship with your partner. I have a lot of friends who rely on this as one of their stones for weight loss. And you know what's funny about that? If you think about when you've been in those phases of your life where you have a really strong, intense sexual desire, those tend to be the times when people are also their physically most healthiest. It's like, if you have intense desire, it's almost like you don't even want to eat or have food. Have you ever been through that before? Like when you're in the early phases of love and you're just so in love, like you don't even eat, and all of a sudden you just like lost 10 pounds out of nowhere. It's a really common story people say, and I think it's because the power of desire overcomes, for contact and for intimacy, overcomes the desire for the basic needs. But this is what I was telling you earlier, and it's such an epiphany for me. If you're worried about the basic things, what I'm talking about doesn't even matter. You have to get beyond your basic needs, fear, safety, comfort, in order to be able to enjoy physical desire, lust, passion. Those things are the juice of life, right? So this is spessartine garnet in limestone matrix. And then, of course, your 4 quartz points. So we are going to charge and activate our grid. I always start in the north. Start at your pyramid and then head to the northernmost point. So we're giving thanks to and calling in magnification from clear quartz, higher self, wisdom, heart opening of our vasonite, and then to our pink apophyllite for the divine feminine, angelic contact, akashic wisdom, and back to vasonite for our higher self and releasing of negative thought patterns. And then out to our quartz for magnification, intensification, back to vasonite for higher self and wisdom. Out to limestone and garnet for sexual desire and passion, back to vasonite for higher self wisdom. Out to carnelian. Did I miss my carnelian before? I've got you now, carnelian. For passion and courage and stamina, back to vasonite. Out here to carnelian again for passion, courage, and stamina. Back to the pyramid for wisdom, higher self contact. Out to clear quartz for magnification, intensification, back to the vasonite pyramid for wisdom, higher self. Out to the pink apophyllite for the divine feminine, angelic wisdom, akashic wisdom, back to the vasonite pyramid for higher self, wisdom, releasing of negative thought patterns. Out to carnelian for courage, energy, and stamina, back to vasonite for higher self and wisdom. Out to quartz for intensification and magnification. And also programming this grid to help us raise a frequency of desire for the month ahead so that we can overcome our obstacles and challenges and face them from an open and healed heart. And if you have other intentions you want to set, just say it as we're charging the grid. You don't have to exactly go along with me, but you know what I mean? Use this opportunity to dialogue with your stones. That's why we charge a grid, is to welcome those energies in and to embrace them and name them. And remember, saying things out loud is how you spell, right? It's how you create energy. And back to vasonite for higher self wisdom and contact. I think I'm going back to and if you do something twice, it doesn't matter. You just don't want to skip anything. Back to the garnet and limestone for sexual desire, and back to the vasonite, higher self wisdom. Out to carnelian for courage, strength, and stamina. Back to vasonite, releasing negative thought patterns, contact with higher self, inner wisdom, inner knowing, heart opening, heart healing. And back out to the quartz for magnification, intensification. Back to vasonite, higher self, trusting in the higher self, allowing the higher self to drive this month, releasing control, surrendering, trusting in the process. And so we activate this grid to hold this frequency for us in the month ahead. We give thanks for the intensity of passion and desire that we can feel, the meeting of all of our basic needs so that we can ascend and evolve in alignment with our soul's path and purpose. Amen, aho. And so it is. And then same thing here. We activate our mini mesa this month, calling in energies of desire, asking the higher self to be present. And you can even set the intention that your higher self can move through this. It's sort of like opening a portal through your stones. If you want to create this as a divine access point to your higher self, that way every time you approach this generator, it opens that dialogue. And so we call the higher self in, ask you to hold the frequency in this space on our mesa and in our hearts and minds and spirits. Help us to trust and surrender to the process. Amen, aho, and so it is. Oof. All right. I'm going to put my perfume inside my grid And you can always do that. You can always expand your grid and add other items in there if you want to charge them with the energy of the grid. You could put your other oils in there. It's kind of a neat thing to do. The oils then become part of the grid, but also get to enjoy the little turbo boost of energy that you just gave it by activating it. So just placing everybody there. That was fun, wasn't it? Woo! Yes, we should charge our amulets. I slept in mine last night. And so we also charge and dedicate our beautiful amulets this month so that we can carry the higher self with us. And in moments when you lose your way, when you can't hear your own inner wisdom, we ask the higher self to communicate through these pieces. And we surrender, we appreciate this wisdom, and we set the intention to be able to follow it, to hear its voice, to answer its call this month. And together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. I'm rubbing my oil on it. Yeah, no, you should. I mean, a little bit, you take this, whoops, I knocked that over. Take your oil and your mala. I add to my mala. I've already put like 3 different oils on this mala. But you put a drop on the silk of your mala or your tassel. You can take a drop and put a little drop on your talisman itself. And work the oils into the stone. Put it on the cord, right? Put it on your hair. I always put it on my ends because, macadamia nut oil on your hair. Are you kidding me right now? Like, my ends just kissed me for that. Amen, aho, and so it is. Woo! That was yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. It's up there with argan. I wouldn't say it's better than it. It's better than argan for your face. Argan is better than macadamia for your hair. For your hair, it goes argan, avocado, macadamia. Should I say that again? For your hair. This is from my mom, actually. I told you my mom's a hairdresser, and my mom was using argan oil before it was cool. And argan is honestly how I keep my hair from splitting. So for your hair, it's argan, avocado, macadamia. And honestly, if you blend all 3 together, that's probably the best possible combination for you. Coconut's good too, but coconut, because my hair is very fine, I can't do a lot of coconut oil in my hair. If I do a mask, you know what I mean? It's something intensive. But the argan, the avocado, and the macadamia nut are lighter. And so they don't weigh the hair down the same way. There's something called sebum, which is a natural oil on your scalp and your face. And argan in particular mimics sebum. It has the same slip, the same texture. Coconut oil for fine hair can be too much. But coconut oil is really good for fine lines and wrinkles. It's very hydrating for the face. Your skin receives it well. Doesn't tend to cause breakouts. So that's a good one for your skin. Fine hair issues, can I just tell you? I look like I have a lot of hair. I don't actually have a lot of hair. So we all have to live with our challenges. Jojoba's good too. After the other ones, though. Definitely argan, avocado, macadamia, then jojoba for hair. All right, you guys, I had so much fun with you tonight. I have to just tell you that. Like, this was one of my favorite classes, although I feel like I say that every time. I really do feel like I'm just enjoying the process more every time we meet. So thank you for bringing your good energy to our experience, too. I appreciate you. So tomorrow is the bonus class. Don't forget that. When I'm done with you, if you want the 5 Arrows perfume, it's on SageGoddess.com. Enjoy. It's nothing you have to have, but if you enjoyed tonight's lesson, it might be another way for you to work with the oils. So I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bring your palm stones, bring your Vogel, any of your crystal tools, bring your scanner. I'm going to teach you how to use them. I'm going to go over portal protocol. I'm going to leave some time for questions. So it'll be a fun session, and it will be recorded, so if you miss it, don't worry. You can go back and watch it later. That's all I got for you for now. M3, I think, has shipped. Let me double check that for you. That's another one. I mean, those between the 5 Arrows and the M3, like it's kind of like mic drop on perfume for the month. Probably won't have anything else like that coming for a little while. I do have a fine line and wrinkle blend that's coming. It's a new formulation with a new oil I haven't used before, but I've been beta testing it at home, and I've seen a big difference. I was starting to get some fine lines here, like laugh lines that weren't going away, and they've softened. So anyway, but that's not now, so that's later. Have a great rest of your of your evening, everybody. Mwah. I'll look forward to seeing you guys very soon.